is good, even when the parents do right by the child and they give them everything that child needs, they nurture them. Because I've actually seen parents actually nurturing their children. They work about 4 jobs so that that child can get the best of what that child can get. Because if you're working 4 jobs, that means you don't have money. Right?
Is that the way you see it?
No, it's because, if you're doing 4 jobs, why would you want to do 4 jobs when you can do the one and make the same money?
But do you think the children will rather want them to be home rather than doing those 4 jobs? And do you think the children understand that the parents are doing those 4 jobs because of them?
And that's my point. So the parent that spends hours and hours on end trying to make ends meet so that child become the best. That child, like you said, one might be grateful and they will do exactly what the parents say because they have that understanding of the trials, the tribulations, and everything they had journey in terms of making ends meet and so forth and so on. The other child, however, might still feel that, but the influences are wider than, and he's not able to actually stand in his own safe space and say the word no. And because of that, the peer influences are sometimes greater than the household.
Wow. Do you believe or agree with what Abba just said this afternoon? I really want to hear your voice, even it's just the 2 of us here in the studio, but I believe you, with your input out there, we can all get a better understanding of today's topic. So please, do give us a call here on 079-603-91983, or you can send in your text and I will try to read them out. Do you think civilization has given teenagers more freedom than they can handle, Abba?
Well, again, as I first expressed, civilization came from where, I would ask. Because it was, as far as I understand it, it was the white man that took civilization to us. If we're looking at the black perspective and we're actually focusing on particular BME children, even though we can actually, when we talk about the wider context of crime, we can look at the demographics of crime, but essentially, where we get our learning for civilization, perception of, is that the white man took civilization to us. And then, so in that case, we didn't actually, we follow.
We just follow.
We follow.
Is that what you think we're doing?
We do.
Okay.
We follow.
Abba, that is your own opinion. And I really want viewers to really help us, on this topic this afternoon.
That's my experience.
That's your experience.
In the communities I've worked with. I am generalizing, I get that.
Okay.
But I am looking at how our community works. So if we don't, because we have so much in terms, if we look at Africa in its own context, we have so much that we could develop for ourselves and our thinking,
You're absolutely right.
economical value, everything, that we do not actually need anybody else.
Wow. I don't think we can be an island and
not
necessarily
an
anybody
island,
else.
but what I'm saying is, for us to get to where, let's
go on.
Let's look at Japan.
No, I don't want us to dwell on that because of time, because we're going somewhere with this, with this topic, with this question that I've just asked. I asked that question probably because of civilization.
Right.
Then young adults of today have it too easy because they are in the Western world.
Yeah.
That was why I asked that question.
Ah, get you. Okay. Well, to be honest, it is easy for them, and it's not a bad thing that it's easy for them, because you got to remember parents have struggled, and a lot of parents have struggled.
Yeah.
So it's a lot easier, but I think sometimes too much of something is not good. And unless we get the balance right, and unless we really support young people particularly because they've got this bigger, wider influence. Then civilization really is something that I could argue is good, but also it's not good.
Not good. Thank you. I like where you're handing it. everything, if he's used too much or he's not used appropriately, might have everything has got a bad or side effect. I believe
absolutely.
that. So I like where you're heading it. So if you have to choose one album, with what you've been saying now, where will you prefer to raise your children? Is it this modern day freedom?
I love Britain because Britain has opportunities. However, what's wrong is the fact that we sometimes do not understand that in society that we have to be able to kind of create those pathways and guidelines that would help us bring up our children properly. Because of fear of lots of different things. And there's other influences for parents that creates those fears.
Those fears.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for that. A friend sent this in to me when they know that I was preparing this question, this topic. I really want your honest, advice. A friend sent our children back to Africa because she wasn't happy about the influence of the Western culture on them. Do you think it is justified, for parents to send their children back to Africa?
That's a difficult one. I can't sit here and judge because I suppose I was one of those children that was left in Africa while my mom came over to find wealth. However, what I would say is that there's much more of a system in Africa that would curtail bad behavior, I would say. But also, social media now is creating some negative influences of the African child also. So I think what it needs, because where we come from, it's always been, it takes a village to bring up a child.
Raise a child. Thank you.
And also the influence of your faith is a big influence also. So I think it doesn't necessarily mean because your child is in Africa, it would necessarily make the child a better person, and it would give them the good guidance. It doesn't necessarily mean that, but I see why they do it.
Okay. Thank you very much. Nika Badmos, thank you very much for joining us. And Molayo, thank you very much for joining us as well. I do really appreciate you. If I didn't mention your name, that's because I didn't see you comment or tell us where you're watching from. Nika Badmos is saying yes. However, it has, but most parents are to blame because of their interpretation of civilization. Is that the children or the teenager are seeing. Okay, you're saying the interpretation of the parent are what the children are seeing. And she went further to say parents are struggling, but we need to understand civilization and check our interpretation. Thank you very much for this. I really wanted to help us share this video because I believe what we are discussing here this afternoon might help just somebody out there today. So please help us share this video if you're watching us, or send it to a friend if you're not going to be part of it. Thank you very much. But Abba, I did a visibility study, like a mini, research. Okay. And it looks like the most difficult immigrant children were not the ones that were born in UK. Most of them came into the UK in their teenage age or years, or even before then. Why do you think this is so?
Please kind of just give clarity on that.
Okay.
In terms of, what do you mean in terms of the
committing crime? Yeah.
Okay, right. So the reason I can only talk from my experience of working with the young people.
Yeah.
I can also only talk from what I know statistically. And so the reason why you get people who are what I call new settlers that are coming into actually the system that we already live in, there's a lack of familiarization with the system.
Okay.
There's a lack of understanding of where they stand in the system. So when they come in, the first person that usually runs to them is the person that they shouldn't be mixing with in the first place.
Wow, I love that.
So, but they want friends.
They want friends, isn't it?
And so because they want friends, they start getting into what that other person is getting into.
You're absolutely right. You know, when I've asked people the first contact they have in the UK when they move to UK, they tend to be like that person or want to do what that person is doing. Yeah, so you're absolutely right.
At my youth centre, what I advise the children, not the parents, the children to do is to think who is a good friend and who is a bad friend. Because your peers influence you more so than anybody else. So if somebody comes running to you and being nice, that's okay, because people can be. However, if they started telling you to go in that shop and get chocolate, maybe as small as that. That's the start of something. That's the start, However, the other thing I also say to them is this. You have to be careful that when you choose your friends, you look, the good friend observes you before they want to be friends with you. They don't just come running to you.
You're absolutely right.
And so you have to do the same. And I understand the fact that you want to fit in, you want to belong, but then what happened, the repercussion of that
what happened,
is massive.
Thank you. Thank you very much, because that's my next question is pressure. You know, someone said that it is not easy to be a teenager, you know, in this our time and age, because they are under so much pressure. So you've worked with teenagers and you've raised teenagers as well. What pressure do you think teenagers are facing in this day and age, and why are those pressures there?
Pressures are there because, like I said, you have to walk by faith. Because there are beautiful children in churches that do amazingly well, because they have this belief that the master comes first. And when your master comes first, your parents will come first.
Oh.
Yeah? So basically, they will then listen. Sometimes I've got a young person that works with me. I'll give you a real life example. She's been coming to my centre, and now she's a young leader.
Wow.
And so she's at university first year as we speak.
Wow.
But however, her peers want to go out clubbing. Her peers want to go out A, B, C, D, E. A lot of the children this time would argue with their parents. We didn't know how to argue with our parents. Once our parents say something, that's it. But in this day and age, this time that we live in, children do argue back. And not all, but majority do. But with her, because she had faith and she believed, then she would come to me and talk to me about it. But she would not disrespect. She would always know that her mom is a mom, and then she would do what's right. Even if she makes mistakes.
We all make mistakes.
But what the point I'm making is that choice. Some of our children is about choices. It's about the choice to choose the right friend. It's about the choice to know that you disrespecting your parents when you know very well that you shouldn't be doing so. It's about this. It's also to know that basically you need to have a space where you can actually go and see an uncle or if something, because parents don't get it right all the time.
Yeah,
we know that.
Absolutely right.
So it's about also giving them that space to be able to sort of say, you know, I wanna speak to somebody who can help me, you know, unravel some of the things I'm feeling.
Thank you. Right now, because I'm asking you this question, next question, because you're working with youth, you're a mother yourself, and you're somebody that a lot of us look up to in society. Who do you think is responsible for the youth moral decay in our society now, Abba?
The government is one, the parents the other. Okay?
So you think everybody, apart from the youth themselves? Because you mentioned the government, and the parents.
And to some extent the community, but the community is too wide to kind of hold them into account. But I think you got to look at this in this way. If I look at the area that I work in, Key stage 2 children, this is a national report that was done not only a couple of years back. Key stage 2 children from BME communities, black minority ethnic communities, they struggled with maths, English and science.
Wow.
In the area I live, not everywhere, in the area that I live and work. Now, within that struggle, what happens is those children they stay bottom of the pile. And you've got to remember, what are key stage 2 children? Those are the children moving in the second. So think about it, because those are the same children that would then move in into high school and then like getting to the point where they're telling them they're behavior problem children, they're labeled, and then they put into pupil referral units.
Wow.
Do you know that a black child is 168 times more likely in this country to be excluded in school?
Wow. What is that? Is it because we are not communicating to them, the right way, or what is the right way of communicating the truth to these children?
It's not. You see, sometimes we go into school and we think the children is at fault because the teacher said so. But some of these teachers don't know. Let me give you an example of a teacher in the UK. A teacher in the UK is an 18-year-old girl that, for example, that's gone to sixth form and then goes straight into university and then come out as trained as a teacher. And he probably lives in Cheshire or somewhere. So what kind of social life skill has that young teacher's got to be able to deal with children who struggle with marginalization, deprivation, poverty, and so forth and so on? They don't have the skills. And if they don't have the skills, because a teacher in my book, and if you look as a teacher to your father, as a teacher in my book, no child should be bad. No child should be bad. The reason being, there's always a good seed in the child. And what you need to do is to be able to thread that out and nurture them.
It.
And that's a good teacher.
Thank you. You mentioned about, children getting into high school and, joining gang and all that. So gang culture among black teenagers is on the rise, Abba. And a lot of our black people have been killed this year. Just last week, just 2 weeks ago, and it's alarming what is going on. Why do you think a teenager would want to join gang in high school? Why?
If they don't feel that they have part or they belong within the community, then the streets are going to take them. The streets, the family. And in the street there's all sorts. There's drugs, there's crime, there's all sorts in the street. And the street begins to nurture them in the way that they want them to behave.
So you're thinking that the community is not nurturing them, and that's why they're going to the street?
The community don't have time. The resources are not there. The government don't put enough resources. In my area, I can only speak for my area, all the youth clubs are closed. All the youth organizations are closed. The funding that are given to youth organizations, they need to find it in themselves. And so if we're talking about nurturing, like I mentioned, that's not a way to nurture the next generation. So what they do, of course and also the other thing that you need to look at in comparison is that the children want to get to wear the clothes and have the phone that any other child have, that their parents might not be able to provide. So when the street comes into play, and the man's there and he's saying, do this for me, do that for me, I'll give you £200 in an hour. And that same £200, guess what?
Wow.
Takes it home to mama.
Mama collects it. Oh my God.
Unfortunately, not in all cases, but in majority of cases you would find that. Because why? Poverty lets you do the things.
So how can parents guide against these children being recruited? Because I watched a video just to buttress what you said. And then that video, I saw a dealer, going to all these young adults and giving them some money. Just drop this for me and you get £1,000.
Yeah.
And that designer shoes they want to buy,
Absolutely.
they're able to buy it. And their
Absolutely.
mother, the parents, fathers are not home, and mothers can only do little, you know. How can parents guide against these children being
It's
recruited?
a difficult one once the street has got you. They can come back, but it's a difficult one. So what we need to do is the prevention stuff. We need to be proactive. in
Proactive
preventing.
rather than
And rather than wait till it's happened, or
yeah.
it's a difficult one. But there are real mentors out there. There are mentors like, locally here in Manchester, there are mentors like a guy called Otis, Kimoy, Adrian Mello. There's so many of them that actually willingly take children that are
out of the street.
out of the street and try and, they've changed so many lives.
Wow.
So many
Wow.
lives, but they don't have the resources, they don't have the capacity.
That's it.
And even
And this
though,
is when the government comes in.
well, the government do come in, but when they come in, it's to kind of clap for them, really, rather than give them what they need to do the work. So, do you understand what I'm trying to say? So I'm not being cynical, I'm being real.
Yeah.
And I think we have a duty of responsibility as a community in terms of how we actually engage with our youth. In terms of what we give them, we need to give them responsibilities early so that they start thinking leadership skill. Because I tell you, a lot of the youths, a higher proportion of black youths are in prison. But why are they in prison?
Why?
The reason why they're in prison is because there's lots of things. There's something called joint enterprise. I don't know if you've heard the phrase joint enterprise.
No.
There's one that where a group of youths have committed a crime, and then whether you did it or not, you're part of that group.
Wow.
So I know a family who's struggling right now because her child is in prison for life because somebody died.
Oh my God! Because he's part
He
of
was
that.
part of that group. Yeah. So
Oh
this
my
is what parents
God.
need to be aware of.
We need to
You
be
need
aware
be
of
that.
this.
Yeah.
Wow, that's very good information that you're passing on now.
Thank you.
We need to be aware of all those things, and that's what we need to be proactive as a parent. You know, Abba mentioned something, giving these children responsibility from a very young age, for them to know that they are the leader of tomorrow. Wow.
And that's exactly it, because most of our children are not in leadership. So therefore, what they then tend to do, because we actually try and protect our children so much, what we tend to do,
We do.
we try to kind of cover them in a way that they don't accentuate their skills, their whatever, until they have to wait till a certain age, certain time. And sometimes that might be too late. Yeah.
Thank you. Please, please, and as little as your young ones are, please engage them in the community. Let them be engaged in whatsoever they love to do, and try to develop that leadership skills in them. It is never too late. Wow. You mentioned something about, you know, children or teenagers or young adults doing bad stuff. As a teenage mentor, and you have a group for teenagers, can you mention few things that some of these young adults or teenagers have confided in you that they've done, but they weren't able to tell the parent? You know, I just wanted to say this thing so that parents out there might be aware that all these things are happening.
The thing is, because of the rule of law, I would always tell a child, if you tell me something
It will be confidential.
that is not confidential,
Okay.
that is on broken the rule, then I would need to let the police
Okay.
know, the social services know, and the parents know.
That's good.
So a lot of the times you would find that they don't
Come out.
divulge.
So-
However, they will say things without saying things, and you would pick up on things that they've done, you know, like robbery or
Wow.
like drugs.
Wow.
There's quite a high percentage that of young people at the age of 11 that have smoked cannabis.
11.
11, yeah.
I
And,
went for a course yesterday, and it's like sex in older people, and it was so I was so shocked
my mum does
to
that
hear that.
presentation.
Wait, I was so shocked to hear that. You know, all these sexual transmitted diseases.
Yeah, that's right.
Young girls, and the percentage, and these are statistics that you can see is really, really high in the lives of the younger ones.
And
From
that-
the age of 13.
And what's that about? That's poverty.
Wow.
Because you would not go, you wouldn't want to actually go and sleep with somebody who's older unless you want to gain
Something for them.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So unfortunately, we are at the age where we are at a state where things are so bad, and we need to wind it back in. We had a good system. Africa had a good system in the way they discipline their children. The only thing I would advise is that the West has taught us not to chastise our children. Disciplining our children and chastising our children are so completely two different things.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for mentioning that. So I really want to ask you now, are parents really empowered to guide the children against any negative peer pressure?
They are empowered depending on the upbringing of the child, because upbringing doesn't start at 16. It starts at 0.0 years old, and it is that Bible verse that's probably one of my favorite verses, where it says,
Train up a child.
Thank you. and if we don't do that, then those, because the Bible, if you read the Bible today, and you read it like 30 years ago, 40 years ago,
still the same.
It's still the same.
And
Still the same.
The principles, the standard.
It's the principle, the standard, and we still talk about it
the
today.
values are still the same.
Still the same. So you need to put the training in, but also the training that we put in our children, particularly in the West. For the life of me, I don't understand it. In the West, most of our parents actually listen to what the majority of the government says. Do you understand what I mean? So, for instance, you should be encouraging your child to develop an empire so that somebody else work for them. You should not be actually just kind of sort of disciplining your child but not giving them nothing, no substance. The discipline is control.
Thank you.
Does that make sense?
Thank you. Thank you very much, Ehino Otaibe. Thank you. Anuyemi. Yes, thank you very much. Princess, thank you. Ehino is saying she's struggling to hear you.
Oh.
And I believe Princess second that as well.
Okay.
So please try to project your voice a bit.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
And Ehino said the parents should try and nurture their children. You are absolutely right. We should all try to nurture these children. But how should we do that? Because what some parents know is just to smack the children, to shout at them, and today we are going to...
You can't do that in today's world.
Isn't
Not
it?
when you live in this kind of community that we live in.
We can.
I had a case the other day, and the poor child went to school and said her mom smacked me, and that's all he needed to say. To say. That was it.
God.
And next thing you know, there was a protection order. There was everything until there's proof that mom didn't do.
So oh God, this is my next question, Harper. You know, it's so common these days. The teenagers
African
get
child is in desperation.
angry quickly. What is it? Is this something their mood is always so? I don't know what to clarify it as.
I wouldn't generalize that all teenagers get angry quickly. However, I would agree with you in the sense that they do get angry. And the anger comes from the frustration that they can't do what everybody else is doing out there. and they believe that they have the right to. And then also they get to that point where is, particularly if they're boys, it's about man and boy, and thinking that I'm now an adult. I should be doing what I want. I should be, do you know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
all those frustrations come. And then also the other thing is all about they want the things that other people
Of course,
have.
of course.
So it's all of those kind of things. And parents got some work to do.
So how do we handle that? Because today we're not just sitting down here to identify the troubles or struggles. We also want to mention some of the solutions. How do you think, as a parent, how can we handle a child that quickly gets angry and is moody?
Yeah.
You know.
Okay, so we started by saying, teach the child. The second phrase I would use,
Yeah.
it takes a village. And we've moved away from that. For whatever reasons,
We
we've
have.
moved away from that. And yet, those village teachings, those support mechanisms,
Yeah.
has paid its price in terms of making that child a wholesome child.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in this system, we don't have that. So what do? You got to start and be consistent. You need to be consistent, because I sit and watch it sometimes thinking, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Because when a child's done something wrong, you actually discipline the child. 2 minutes later, you're buying them McDonald's. What's that about? Because what's that about? What discipline are you instilling there?
Yeah.
And then secondly, also, a child will say, I'm not eating my home food. You go buy McDonald's. What's that about? We don't know that. It's about consistency. Because when you're consistent in the things that you do, then you will get to the end and it will be fine. But if you're not, because the child knows is right in this country.
They do.
If not when they're younger, certainly by the time they're 16. And it will be a different ballgame altogether.
By then. Thank you. Thank you very much, Rose. She sent a comment on WhatsApp. I'll try to read it out. Children of God, the world is going too well and wants to take our children with it. Today the law has been passed on the national curriculum for 4 years old.
That's right.
Please forgive me. I'm so upset with what these people are doing. I can hardly type. Yes, our 4-year-old will be having their genders discussed in their classrooms on subjects of masturbating. They will be taught by touching themselves. They are going to be finally doing something. Let our voice be heard. Let these lawmakers know that we will not allow them to abuse our children under the disguise of gender natural. We're not talking about gender yet today, but thank you very much for your comment. But what do you have to say to that comment?
I think, that's a big, big problem, particularly for people of faith.
Yeah.
Because some of those beliefs they don't have. So it's about how we deal with it. Now, the first thing I would advise is that, a lot of us don't have the time because of how our systems are set in our homes.
Yeah.
But people should consider homeschooling because it's
Wow.
not against the law. And most homeschool people are going up to become their own business leaders. And they get the same qualifications, they then go to university, but they don't carry those baggages. And that is something. But you need to be dedicated.
Thank you. That's a very good point. But if it's not every one of us that can homeschool our children, so this will be what I would say. You've answered it before. Okay. Is train up your child in the way it should go when they are young. And when they grow older, they will not depart from it. That is number one. Your values, your beliefs, you need to pass it on to these children. And number two, I believe most of African parents, we struggle in this area. I told you about the course I went for. Is about discussing sexuality. We find it difficult to discuss this topic with our children. Once your child is at that age, when they know themselves, you can discuss this thing with them. God created them to be a male and a male there will be. God has created them a female. Again, there's some people that have got medical conditions, and because of these, they have to go through procedures and all that. But you have to be able to explain in details to these children so that they won't be confused in school when they are being taught, and let them know boundaries. We should touch them to what extent, and when are people allowed to touch them, and how. We need to discuss these things with our children. So when they're being taught in school, it will not be like the first time they're hearing about it. They've heard about it from home.
Let me just be clear about that. The reason I said that before is the same equality. I'm a massive, massive advocate for people living their lives, their lifestyle in the way they choose to live it. And that's why we have equality, all right? However, at the same point, just as somebody say LGBT person wants equality, I would guess the same faith person wants equality for whatever they believe.
For whatever,
However, what my belief system is that you need to then just respect people for where they are, but you do not have to
impose.
So basically that's that. But one of the things I quickly want to say is that as parents, particularly of African descent, we do not have a voice of leadership. We are silent. We are too silent. We don't advocate on behalf of our people. We don't advocate on behalf of the things that are right and that are wrong. And I understand that because culture and traditions, those speak of authority, and all these things that we are brought up with makes it difficult for us. But when things are wrong and the children watches us and we're not fighting on their behalf, like I said, if we don't nurture our children, the street will take our children.
Thank you very much for that. Again, another fan sent us comment in. Some of the youth used to think they are playing logic with their brain by doing internet fraud. And it went away to say some used to think it is the fastest way of getting money from people. Again, saying some of the things that teenagers are doing as well. Thank you very much for your comment. I'll try and read them out. Please send in your comment or your contribution and we would like to read it out. Right, let's go back. Some people argue that discrimination and racism are the two main reasons why our people are, people from black minority, when I say our people from black minority are into crime. This statement, how accurate is it, Abba?
I would argue that it has some kind of a foundation, but I wouldn't say that's the main crux of it. I think discrimination is a massive issue.
It is.
And one thing I know about the young black person, they demand respect, but not everybody understands how to get respect and what. So basically, when they discriminated against, they become quite angry. Some of them, and they behave in a certain kind of way. But they've seen their parents and the parents before them and the ancestors before them being treated a certain kind of way. That is, and then when they look around, say we take Britain for instance, even in our locality, and they look around, where are the role models? Where are the role models that stand on the shoulders of their ancestors to say, you know what, we are leaders in our domain? There's not many of us. Because when you look at the economic platform, where are we? Things like that matter. Young people see it. What we project is what young people see. And so, of course, in terms of race and discrimination, they are going to follow suit. The structure that we live in is already been put in place that we are nowhere near the top of the platform. We are always going to be at the bottom of the platform. We
will be there. We will be there. People like you, yes. You're saying we don't have mentors. We have people like you. We have Ehino. We have Doris Oyegade. Thank you very much for joining us. Beautiful minds there. Yes, We have mentors, and there are lots
No,
of
we
male
do.
mentors.
We
Maybe
do.
we're
We
hiding
do.
and
Yeah.
we're coming out
We need
there.
to come out more.
Yeah.
We need to come out more. There's so many
Thank
mentors.
you. Thank you very much, Ahino. Oh my God, a lot of comments has been put on here. I think she's talking about why the child do get angry, and she said, find out why the child gets angry, ask an open question so he or she
Yeah,
can
true,
express
true. That's
himself
fine.
or herself.
I would agree.
Doris Yegade, thank you very much, Matt, for joining us this afternoon. She said there are different ways to discipline without smacking.
Yeah.
We need to speak the truth in love. You know, taking gadgets away from the children really works, and grounding them. Also praise them when they have done well. Don't nag, make your point. Thank you very much
Wow,
for
that's
that.
beautiful.
That is so beautiful.
Beautiful.
Ehina went again to say, train your child in the way of the Lord. I personally don't like homeschool because at the end of the day, the child will still go out and live his or her own life. Let them know what is right and wrong. Spend quality time with them. Thank you. Doris Oigada went further to say, let them know what the Word of God says. And Ehina went to say, discrimination is everywhere, even among ourselves. Black in black bracket.
Wow,
Thank you very much
that
for
is
that.
Big. That sister.
That is
wow,
deep. That is deep. Thank
That
you.
is deep. And she's spot on.
Yes,
She's
it
really
is.
spot
It
on.
is.
Yeah,
And she went
absolutely.
further to say, we will not always be in the bottom in Jesus' name. Amen.
Yeah.
I strongly believe that, and I second that opinion as well. And I believe we're not even at the bottom anymore. We're working. We're work in progress, and we will definitely get there. You know,
No, when I say at the bottom, it's just that what we project is what the children see.
I understand.
And that's basically what I'm trying to express. But
Yeah.
Aina got it right.
Yes, thank you very much. So does that mean that the society believes that the ethnic minority is the leading cause of gun and knife crime in the society?
That is the excuse.
It is the excuse.
That is the excuse, because when you look at, in terms of, you look at the national greed in terms of criminal activity,
Yeah.
it's only 1 to 2% that are related to gun and knife crime. And so what about the 99% of all other crimes? So there is a higher proportion of youths of African and Caribbean descent using knife and gun as a weapon of violence, but mainly in areas where there's a high proportion of African Caribbean people. Anyway,
Yeah.
so if you look at where the higher proportion of African and Caribbean people are,
Yeah.
mainly London, probably Manchester, and so forth. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you look at that, bear in mind we're only kind of like something
But
like
we're
15%,
minority.
15 point something percent
Yeah.
in the whole country.
Mhm.
Then basically I think there's a propaganda, personally,
Okay.
to actually make the young African and Caribbean people look bad.
Thank you. I love just what you've just said, because I believe it is a stereotype.
Yeah.
And our children are having, they're conceiving this idea, and they are believing in it, and it's making them to want to do those bad stuff. How can we change this stereotype, Abba?
I think it's one that's difficult, but we keep on moving, we keep on setting. So we all have a duty of responsibility. We all have a duty of responsibility to share good news about young people. I see news about young people, but I don't see many good news about young people.
News.
So I think we have a good responsibility to do that for ourselves, and because the world won't do it for us.
Sorry about the good news. Do you not think it's because of our background? Because I believe in African background, when your child is doing so well, you don't want to put them out in the line, for everybody to know.
Yeah.
We believe in protecting. You understand what I mean?
And we need to change some of those
We
kind
need
of ways.
to.
We need to come into
We
the
need to
21st
celebrate
century.
success, like what Ehino is doing at the moment. Thank you very much for your show. celebrating success. We need to be able to come out and celebrate our success story
Agree.
in order to encourage people, not because we're being proud. In fact, I wrote something last night, and watch out for that write-up, about something like this. You know, we need to celebrate ourselves more. We don't do that often.
We certainly do.
And that is why a lot of bad news is out there and covering the good stuff that we're doing.
You know, in terms of, when you look at education, quickly look at education, in the, say, year not 1 to year 4, the African Caribbean children are doing so well, much more than any other group.
Yeah.
Somehow between year 5, year 6, it kind of dips. And then when it dips, they then make that transition to year 7.
To year 7.
And when they make that transition to year 7, they then put in the bottom set instead of nurturing them to kind of move back up. The other cohort group that affects is refugee children. They always go in the bottom regardless, even no matter how clever they are, because it's all about systems, money, everything like that. So we need to fight hard all the time to be able to actually be at the same path as everybody else.
We will be there. Thank you very much, Trendy Tammy, for joining us. Please, as you are joining us this afternoon, help us share this video, because I believe it's going to bless somebody out there. Even if it's just one teenager or one adult, one parent that we are able to touch this afternoon, I believe we've done something. We need to change the stereotype that is out there, and we need to change the way we think, the way we behave towards our children. And this environment, we need to learn how to behave, how to raise our children up. That was where we started from, though. We are here. We need to embrace the culture and try to understand how to raise our children here. And we need to be at the top. We've said a lot of things, and if you've missed it, don't worry. You can watch this video back, when we finish. So please help us share this video today. You know, we've been saying train up a child and the way it should go, introduce God, tell them about God, their faith, But when is the right time to introduce God to these children?
From inception.
From when they're not?
From when they're not. Because it becomes part of them. It becomes their whole being. It becomes lifestyle. It becomes everything that they would see beyond measures. And so it's important. Instilling something in somebody takes years. It doesn't take one day, 2 years, 2, 3 years. So if you don't start, and also the other important bit is that a child, when he's young, actually it's like a sponge. It takes so much in, so they can learn so much good. And need to be, focused in the word. Focus in the word.
Thank you very much. I believe, you said it there. You were so spotted there. Nurturing takes time, and it takes discipline, and it takes modeling, because you have to be what you want your children to be. Not you introducing God to them, but your lifestyle is not picturing or mirroring God in your life. You're confusing them, and I think that's why we have a lot of these things out there. These children are confused because mommy and daddy are someone else at home, and when they're in church, they are another individual, and when they are at work, there's something different.
Else,
When they are at a party, something different.
Right.
So they are confused, and we need to change that in order to make these children to believe the God that we are introducing them to, or to hold them to the faith that we have given them, and to be able to walk in the faith that we have been walking in. It takes us to be a good leader. It takes us to be a good model, a good role model. And if I've missed anything, please send in your comments and we will try to read it out. Thank you very much, Doris Oyegade is saying we need to mentor our children and change the stereotypical mindset. Thank you very much. It is a mindset thing, and it takes time even for us to rewire those mindset that we've had. Thank you very much. So, now again, I really wanted to help us because you are working with teenagers. How can parents identify a child who belongs to a dangerous gang?
You know, the little points that the little things that they do that they think they're okay, they're covering it well, but you instinctively know that's not my child, that's not. So slowly, it would be like probably the sleeping in, you know, because if you're used to getting up at 8 in the morning and you start getting up at 2 in the afternoon, there's questions to be asked. If you start making up stories, because parents instinctively know, but making up, if you continue to make stories and you because once you start lying, something else you can just keep
You have to keep lying,
keep on lying. So you kind of watch out the signs. You watch out for the friends that they bring in. The friend changes.
That's it.
You know, and then the other thing is they start going out, and if they have to come home, then you would call them on the phone, they won't answer. You know, the signs are there, and once those signs are there, don't ignore them. And even when you pick up on the signs it's wrong, at least you picked up on something. You check on something. There's always check and balance all the time. Check and balance all the time, because children will have their own views. They would have their own mindset. But sometimes when they caught up in a big kind of circle, then it makes it very difficult for them. And sometimes they want to explore, but they might not want to be in it, and then they find themselves in it, but don't know how to get out of it.
That's it.
And so it's about parents being really assertive and understanding that there are things out there.
Thank you very much. And if you know any other signs for parents to look out for, please send them the comments or call us in the studios on 079 603 919.
Some people might say check the phone all the time, but I wouldn't. You know why?
Why?
Because there's got to be an element of trust. Because if you don't, then once trust is broken, it's hard to fix.
It takes time to fix it. Thank you very much. Ahina is saying some parents are confused themselves, living double lives. Yeah. Doris Oyedekde said, our children are watching. They see more than they hear. Thank you very much for that. Sometimes they cannot account for time spent outside. Others change their story. Exactly. You need to watch the frequency and, you know, how they change stuff.
Yeah.
You know, I want to leave two things with us today. And if that's the only thing you're going to take from today's show, but I believe you're going to take more than that. You know, for us to keep our eyes on these children, sometimes might be very difficult. Some are very good at it.
Yeah.
Some have gotten, you know, deep and you can't even tell. I've heard of stories that the parents are pastors and the children are very good at home and they thought they're very, very good children, but they couldn't spot anything. But I want to share something with you this evening. You know, my children were involved in something before, and I didn't know, but I was like, how can I know these children? God, I pray to God, God, please, you know, show me what these children are doing, and the Holy Spirit revealed it to me. So I want to leave that with you as parents as well. Be friends with the Holy Spirit. Even when you cannot see, when you're not with them 24/7, when you cannot watch their phone, they bring good friends at home, but they hang out with bad ones outside. The Holy Spirit might be a good teacher, might be a good one that will reveal those secret things that your children are doing behind you that you need to know. So you need to be friends with Holy Spirit, please, and be friends with them. And again, we said something before about which I believe is so important. Be proactive before they even get into it at all. Try to be the friends, talk to them, and they will share things with you before they get deep. And I believe God will also help us. And Ahim said, also check their rooms. Help them clean the room and use the opportunity to check what they have there. When was the last time parents went into the teenagers' room?
No, but it's true. It is true. You know, you'd be amazed what you found. Because I tell you, every single one of us, because of the country we live in,
Yeah.
there will be a time when children will try and, you know, kind of move the boundaries. And so you kind of need to deal with it, if they do. I remember one time there was a knock on my door. Now, I opened the door and was shocked. It was the police. Well, number one, I was absolutely thinking, well, what on earth? Why would you come to my door? Because there was no need for you to. As far as I've got the best children on this earth.
Oh,
No, as far as I'm concerned. Well, at that moment, when they said, "Have you got a son called?" Oh gosh, what's going on? You know? But luckily, it wasn't for bad. But the point is, though, it could have turned out really, really bad. So.
Thank you.
Again, what Aina said is really spot on. You need to be, in fact, 10 steps ahead of them. And you need to be, but cleverly, but like I said again, I'm going to repeat this. If trust is broken, it's very hard to build it back up. So we kind of need to really be careful.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Doris. Doris said, are they being secretive? You know, when they're being secretive, then you should suspect something is going on. And Aina said something that I really, really love. She said, when parents are working long hours, so the children know daddy and mommy are not always around, that gives them the opportunity to mingle with bad friends.
100%.
That is so spot on.
100%.
Thank you very much for mentioning that.
They're called key latch kids. And that's what they would do.
Yeah.
They've got no boundaries, nobody's telling them or disciplining them.
Yeah.
They can go out at 10 o'clock, come back at 12, and mom gets in at 2.
Yeah.
And
and when they know your time, they know your schedule and everything. Thank you very much, Lee. Right. This one now, Abba, I really want us to really think about it carefully before you answer it. Most teenagers say they carry weapon in order to protect themselves. Do you think that is right?
The statement is correct. No, it is. It really is correct. However, it is the wrong thing to do. The wrong thing to do because of when you hold a weapon, then you're asking for prison time, regardless of who or what, protection or what. So it's really important that you find another way. Find a confidant, report it somewhere, and this is why we should have systems in place. You should know people to talk to, and so forth and so on.
Thank you, because I was going to ask you, now we're saying they shouldn't carry weapon to protect themselves, but what can they do to protect themselves when they feel threatened?
Okay. I could carry a weapon, and the weapon is for the person who's going to attack me. However, that weapon could turn up kill me, because he could take that knife and put it in me, or that gun. And, do you see what I mean? So it doesn't solve the problem. However, what we need to do is work on their own confidence to be able to report things, to be able to say what's going on, that if they've been bullied. And because it starts with bullying, it starts with intimidation and so forth and so on. So it's really, really important that we work with children. And sometimes they don't want to tell the people that are close to them, so like parents. So, but they might tell a school teacher, they might tell a friend's mom, they might, or dad, or whoever. But it's that confidence to speak, that confidence to actually share. It's really, really important, and that is in any circumstances that they might find themselves in.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I appreciate that you said that, because I was going to say that we black people, we're so religious and we believe that God is going to fix everything, and sometimes
which is true, but it's the interpretation of what that means. That's what I have a problem with. Because God will fix it. But, at the same time, God also tells us that, you have to do the work. So basically, if you have to go out and help and find the facts and support the children in a way, you kind of just leave it and say God would fix it. You of course you walk by faith, but you can't just leave it, because the community don't work like that.
No. Thank you. So thank you. Please, if you find yourself in any circumstances that we've discussed today, please, all we're saying this afternoon is help is readily available.
Absolutely.
Do not suffer in
Absolutely.
silence.
There are lots of youth organisations. You go up 42nd Street.
Yeah.
And again, the other thing is that our community is very taboo. Apart from our faith, we don't like putting our day linen out in the public
No.
because of the fear of what
People
my neighbour
say.
might say and this might say. But that's the detrimental to your family and yourself. It doesn't matter what people would say. It's more about what's best for me and my family and how can I protect me and my family.
Thank you.
And if we're a good community, rather than talking about each other, we should be supporting
That's
each other.
it. That's it. Thank you very much. About some people have joined gang. And I don't know them. I come across this video or somebody that has seen this video might share it to them and they have that conviction to say, I want to come out. They want to leave the gang culture and live a normal life. But they are afraid of the consequences. What is your advice to such people?
Such people, it's a difficult one because once you're in a gang, you're there for life. Some people actually blood to blood, they cut blood and saying
that's like a covenant.
Yeah. So it's really deep. However, if you know it's wrong, then you know it's wrong. And making that choice to come out, I think, is the bravest and biggest choice ever. Because a lot of our young people find themselves, they didn't intend to be in a gang, but they ended up
finding
themselves there. And so, like I said before, mentors will come crucial at this stage. And also the other thing that they can do, they could educate themselves about how to come out of the gang. There's a guy called Craig Pickney. He was a gang member, and he's now a university lecturer at the University of Birmingham.
Wow.
Now, somebody like that, because of lived experience, he's an expert by experience, he would be able to reassure that person, would take them through the processes. I know they said, oh, just tell the police and stuff, but there's always a repercussion. Because when you're in the gang, everybody behind you is in that gang, whether they like it or not. If you know, in the sense, what I'm saying is that if you're in a gang and the gang knows your family, then your family is in that gang too, whether you like it or not. So if he spills on them, then they might threaten him about, I'll get your sister.
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean?
What you mean. Yeah.
So it's really quite deep. So we kind of need to be really cautious, take precautions, and to some extent I've known a situation where the police have actually had to move families.
Wow.
Not move families from the area, they move families to another town because of
to protect them
with issues.
I just want to say this, even with everything Abba have said, it might look frightening and it might look, does that mean there is no way out? No.
There is a way out.
There is a way out.
There's always a way out.
Please, I've like she mentioned, she's seen a man out of it. He's not lecturing at the university. I've seen somebody that is not a pastor. So you can come out.
You can.
It's not the end of the world. And don't think once you're in for life. It is the lie of the devil. You can come out and still achieve something great in life. Some people might be saying, once I'm out, what am I going to do? Who's going to employ me? I can't get any job. Who's going to marry me? I won't have any friends. And all these fears, kind of bury them to remain in it. Please, these are all the lies of the devil.
You go back and lie down in the foot of Jesus. I'll tell you, everything is possible.
That's it.
Every single thing is
That's
possible.
it. And that's who I want to introduce to you this evening.
Right.
Accept Lord Jesus into your life, and He will purify your life, and make it your life for you to live a purposeful life, and you will leave all those things behind. It says, whoever is in Christ is a new creature, and all things are passed away, and behold, all things are become new. You will become a new creature, and you will start your life afresh again. It is possible, and it is doable. Please stop listening to that voice in your head. That's the voice of the devil saying, you should not come out. You cannot come out. There's no way out. Please stop listening to such a voice today. And if a child confide in you or come to you to tell you stuff, please, that is not the time for you to judge that
Yeah,
child,
that's
to say, what have you done? You're in it for life, you can't come out of it now, and you start threatening that child, or I'm going to report you to the police. No, you have to work with that child until they are able and ready to go and report themselves to the police and take themselves there. But in case when there is, life threatening or life at risk, then you can report to the police. But you have to wait for that child to say, I'm willing to come out now and I want to do it my way, and you work with them, please, because trust is really, really important in doing this. Right. I don't know about you, but I believe some parents believe that these teenagers are just lawless and they're totally out of
They're
control.
people.
There
They're
is
really
no better way
No.
to deal with them or to talk to them. I don't even like communicating or talking with youth of nowadays because they are so rude. Do you think it will be it will be better if parents have more control over the teenagers or young ones?
It's a difficult one because, like I said at the start, the systems we have in place makes it difficult for parents to do their job. However, it does not stop parents doing their job. And I think what parents need to be is consistent. They need to be consistent in discipline.
Yeah.
They need to be consistent in the things that they do that the children see that's right, rather than the things that's not right. They also need to be able to talk to one another and also make a firm decision. So, for instance, once you and your hobby per se has agreed that this is the discipline for the child can then go to mom and say, do you know?
And waive it.
And waive
because
it.
they know how to.
It's all of that. So we kind of need to be mindful. Very, very mindful.
Thank you. We've come to the end of today's show. But before we leave Harbour, I really, really want you to please encourage parents out there that are, facing challenges over the children. Some of these children, they know that these children are in gang, and it's really, really, they're regretting ever bringing them to the Western world, and they're so depressed, Some have even gone into the mental health, breakdown.
Right.
Can you please encourage this parent?
Well, I can leave this with you. A child might behave badly sometimes, but it doesn't define who they are for the rest of their life. So whatever that comes, sometimes God takes us through trials to take us through the thorny ground and bring us to sanctification. And that simply means that no matter what the issues, the troubles, once they are refined, they become 10 times better person than they were before.
Wow.
So basically, what I would say to you, never give up on the child. The system that they've come to live in is a system that's not great. It's not a system, it's a system of opportunity, but it's not a system of discipline. And because you know that, what you need to do is just keep talking to that child, keep encouraging that child, creating opportunities. If you keep that child occupied for the longest time in his youngest years, when he grows older, he wouldn't have gangs as friends because he would be occupied in sports and so forth and so on. And no financial issues could also be part of that problem.
Yeah.
But somehow, as a collective community, or together, we should find a way. So, but all I can leave is not to give up, because there are beautiful young people out there. There's beautiful souls out there.
Oh, thank you. Yes, we have just one more question for Abba, and that will be it. Yes, we're finishing, but she said something that I really, really love. Please, 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 stop regretting ever bringing your children to Western world. There's no place that is safe, I would say, left to me. Everywhere is not safe now.
It's not safe. What I would only advise, just so I can really kind of pull it all together, is when you come to the Western world, you had a discipline before you came. You had a culture before you came. But what we tend to do as people that come into a community, because we want to fit in so quickly, we forget about the things that mean so much to us,
To
the
us.
values, our cultural identity, our heritage, our traditions, and we start mingling in into the host community's way of doing things. But you need to stay faithful to that cause that which is yours. Mingling in is not a good thing, but actually integrating into the community is okay, because then you can step out and go back to
And
doing
go back. Thank you very much. Again, I want you to encourage, those parents out there that they've lost their children to gun and knife crime.
No.
It's really, really sad. I've had to interview some people in the past and sharing that even if it's years past, the pain is still there. Losing a child is never something that is easy. Can you please encourage those parents, please?
Yeah. It's a sad thing when anybody loses a life. It's a sad thing. In fact, when they don't even die, it's a sad thing that they're not there with you. If they go to prison, it's like you've lost them as well. So it's just sad all round. But I encourage you, because when you give out there like the way you do everything you've done for your child to be the best, and it didn't turn out like that. Only God knows best.
Yes.
We don't know. We don't know why. So what I say to you and to all those people who have faith and they believe is to stay faithful. Stay faithful.
Yeah.
God will work it out. It would come round and it would work out in the end. Because I can just quickly leave this with you. My mom was, for the longest while, she lived on her own because my brother who lived with her decided to go back home. Even though he was born here, he preferred back home.
Wow.
So he went home, and because he went home, she then lived on her own. And it's amazing, I can't even get over this. Now, it was a Thursday, I went to visit my mom, and as I sat there, the phone rang. And it was this guy that I only met at a supermarket and I've been speaking to. And he said to me, look, I've got nowhere to go. The person I was married to decided, they took from two different cultures.
Okay.
So the person I was married to decided to just dump my clothes in the car park.
Oh my God.
And it was raining.
Oh
and,
my God.
and so I said to him, I said, come. Now, I don't know him. I only met him in the supermarket. I was speaking to him. I said, come. And he listened, he obeyed, and he came. And that's the best thing that's ever happened to my mum. He's still there 3 years on.
Wow.
Yeah. It's my mum's help. He helps my mum do everything. It's just such a blessing. So what I'm saying to you, I guess, is that whatever is removed, it will be given in another way.
Wow, I love that. I love that closing. Thank you very much. Thank you. Please, it's not easy, like she said, and I'm not going to add to that because I believe she has done justice today. I just want to pray that the Lord is a healer and He will heal your heart, and it's not easy. Some people will say it's happened years and you're still grieving. It takes some people years to grieve, and some people grieve forever. You grieve as long as you want, but know that the Lord loves you.
Amen.
And the love gives and the love takes.
Yeah.
And He will give you back,
Restore.
even in sevenfold, from when you're not expecting.
Amen.
Thank you very much for joining us this evening. Yes, Sailing Point is going to be screened this Sunday in Liverpool.
Wow.
Yes, the 20th of October, we are going to be screening Sailing Point. Are you living or around Liverpool? We are going to be at the Pentecost Baptist Church and is at number 2 Coleridge Street, Liverpool, L6 6BT, and the time is 11 a.m. This is a free screening.
Brilliant.
And we're going to do
Brilliant.
church in another way, another dimension. Come to church on Sunday and just come and sit down and watch Sailing Point and let it transform your life. Let it, take you to that place that you have always wanted to be. Selling Point is the movie you do not want to miss for anything at all. And it is free car parking. Yes, you can bring a car there and park it there, and I will be there to personally welcome you on Sunday, the 20th of October 2019, and the time again is at 11. The venue is Pentecost Baptist Church at number 2 Coleridge Street, Liverpool, L66BT. That's the postcode. Please, I will be waiting for you, and I believe our Lord Jesus Christ will be waiting to welcome you. And again, if you have not gotten my book, we are still selling. It is still on Amazon. Yes, on Amazon you can get my book, Beautiful, and you can also get it on my website, www.beautifulmindonline.org. And you can also want it, if you want it in the soft copy format, you can download it on Amazon Kindle and buy it. And please, when you're buying one, I always encourage people to buy one for another friend, for a colleague, for a friend, for a family member, anybody at all that you think they need to renew their mind, that they need to see beauty in their life, in that ashes that they are in that struggle, in that pain, that they need to see beauty in it. You need to buy it for them, and their life will never remain the same. They are beautiful, in whatsoever life has thrown at them. They're beautiful, and you that you're watching us this evening, you are beautiful as well, and you can be you to your fullness. When you start loving yourself, having confidence in yourself, and networking with the right people in your life, and being in the right environment, you can be yourself to the fullness. Thank you very much for joining us this evening. I do really, really love you and appreciate you. Until next week, when I will be bringing another informative and educative topic your way. I remain your host, Adeyinka Adeyemi. Bye for now. Thank you.
You.
Thank you. I do appreciate it.
No, that's great. That's great.
Yeah, we did well.
We tried.
I was waiting for you to put.
I've done that.
You waiting for
I've
what?
done the flyer before.
Huh?
I put it before. I don't know. My brother called me from Africa. It was good all through the everything was perfect.
Was it? I'm gonna go watch it properly when I go. Can you take a picture? Because last time I didn't get a picture.
It's just I don't like taking picture behind the screen.
So, well, we can do it. We can do it. Thank you for having me. That was brilliant.
Come in.
Yeah, I need one of these as well.
And the interaction was well. 31 comments.
Oh, you did so well.
Really?
You nailed everything.
Every
thank you.
testimony. Yeah, she's good.
Thank you. Where's my
You
notes?
talk out of experience, and that's the best. Because
Yeah.
I love the way you were saying that. See, but it's hard for us. This is what I want you to know. My son comes from school and says, Daddy, you don't understand. That teacher is lying.
Yeah.
But I have to tell my child, you can't say that to your teacher. Because that's the way we were brought up.
That's exactly. But
The boy is probably right.
He
But
is
how
right.
do I defend that?
You go and
Speak
even
to the teacher.
you go and tell them, because even if the child is wrong, don't ever let your teacher know that your child is wrong in front of him. Because
No, I've actually dragged one page. My wife will be the one to say, no, don't do that. I wrote them in letter.
yeah, good.
Just for them to know that, okay, we too can speak English. And I stated my case one by one, and
Yeah.
that was it. Hello?
Oh, we are going.
We are going
Yeah, we're
to...
going now. So.
All right. So
Thank
have
you,
the
ma'am.
key.
Yes,
Yes,
I can
ma'am.
look up.
Okay.
Yeah, I think God, you want to take a picture.
Yeah, where do you want it? Where do you want it?
It's up to her, wherever she wants.
I want to do this post, and I'm trying
Which one?
to.
What post is that? Oh, give me a book.
Okay.
My brother
How
calls
to do
from
this post?
Nigeria. When he calls like that, it's because he has something to say.
Oh, okay.
A lot.
What post is it?
It's for the movie we did behind
Oh,
our
is
mask.
it?
Let's do this. Let's do this.
So I have to
That's it.
post like that. So I'm trying
Okay.
to master that pose.
So where do you want to take the picture
Can
for the
stay.
post?
No, we have to do that one there so that I can change the background to anything you want.
Okay.
Well, how do you do the post?
I have to send my picture, then they will design it.
Right, okay. Is that the designer you normally use?
No, my husband designed it.
Oh, you design.
He's the
So I should
designer.
be giving you a job.
Yes, you should.
I should.
Yeah, you should.
And I need branding as well.
You
Want
said
to-
that the last time.
I know,
okay?
I
Here,
didn't do
move
it.
here.
And you didn't do
Because
it.
of the light. Okay.
Is it that?
Not ready yet. Just give me
You're
time.
testing the camera. Have you gotten
Move?
the
No, no, don't move.
button to hold for you to hold it?
Okay, look at it.
See?
Is that okay? Or is it too...
Hold on,
What
what have I-
have you done?
Yeah, but do you want me to come that side so that my hair is not blocking out?
Is that right? Is that okay? Then
No
I'll
worries.
Or giving a shadow?
Smile a little bit. Hey, can you look at me?
That was a lousy slide. Because, let's see.
Yeah, it's more like it. Well, you're a bit far
Yeah,
away.
no,
You're
yeah,
backing
yeah.
away.
You're being
Can you do
conscious
it?
of that.
I'm conscious,
laughing
yeah.
away.
Right, I've gone. I'll just-
No, she wants to do... Okay.
You're going away from me. You can't get me.
Alright,
Don't worry.
Okay.
Okay. Look at the camera. A bit more like yeah.
Like this.
Yeah. No, no, too much now. Okay.
You just don't like taking.
No.
I can tell.
If I take it when people are not
Looking at
When you're not conscious.
conscious,
okay.
I'm okay, yeah.
I prefer when people are not conscious
Alright,
too.
okay. You see, I'm too conscious. Oh, can we do one more time? Just because I'm kind of like that. Okay, right, come on.
Alright, I'm gonna change. Use my flash. Might take a few before I settle for the best, so.
Okay.
Oh God. I'm doing this slimming one thing. No, maybe you're interested.
Which?
It's called Herbalife. Have you heard about
Oh,
it?
yeah, I've heard about it. Is that what you're doing?
Yeah.
Okay. And
Want
how
to
is
join
that?
me?
Listen.
It's good.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah,
I
that's
think
more
that's
like it,
better.
that's
That's
better.
more like it. Thank
£10 one that you can use for a starter for 3 days.
Let's me do more.
you. Mhm.
Come together.
This is my mama.
Okay.
I have to be your coach now.
I'm telling you.
I have to coach you.
You're so good at it. It's like, let's take the pose.
You just done it. That's it. That's what you needed
No,
to
but
do.
that's because I'm not conscious. Right. Oh,
Let's
dear.
do that one.
Let's see what it's like.
Yeah. That's fine. You're
Yeah,
still
that's
running
all right.
away though.
Yeah.
Okay, last one
You're still
now.
running away, but it was
I
good.
think I'll get it this time now.
Yeah.
Come on now.
Okay, you're looking up. Okay, a bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
probably too serious.
That's nice. I like that. I like that look. That's nice. That's beautiful.
What do you think?
This is good.
Yeah,
This is good.
yeah, okay.
I think
You need
it's
to
good.
school me.
Yes, I need to do that. You have to go for photo shoot. Look at that. That's what you need
Well,
to
like
do.
that, I was going
Yeah.
Oh, blessings. Oh,
Thank you
dear.
for coming, my
Yeah, how much
sister.
is the
Thank
book?
you.
I forgot.
£10. Oh, I really want you to. When are we gonna sit down? Maybe I have to come down so that we can
Yeah.
apply for all these things.
You know, you
And
need
you can
to
do it
catch
the way
me.
you did it.
You need to catch me and sit with me. You know what I'm like, don't
I
you?
know.
So, but yeah, I will try. The Forever Manchester one, I'm gonna go look at it. It's that easy to get. So I don't know why you haven't got that. Can you send me the application form? Like
Yeah.
you did.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
I've sent it to like how many people now? The first time I applied for it, they said, oh, we sent it off. Oh.
Oh, okay.
Okay, that's blessing.
Oh,
No, that's
oh, blessed. God is good.
That's blessing. Thank you, Sue.
Give thanks, yeah.
Yeah, so I want to. I'll send it to you, the one I've done before.
Okay.
But do you want me to tell you the plan I have now? So that maybe when you see something that I can go with it. We want to do like an award event, but not award the way we're doing award. Not giving people an award. We want the community to get involved and nominate people that have been struggling, raising children in the
What do you call it?
I'm thinking
You're not calling it. What is it called?
kind heart.
Kind Heart. Oh, nice. I like it.
Yeah,
Kind Heart Awards. That's really good.
yeah.
I think you need to do a project plan,
Okay.
right? We need to sit down.
Yeah.
I know you work because people don't have time, but we really need to
We
sit
need
down.
to. We need to.
So what days are your best days?
Weekend, I think
apart from
weekend.
today. Weekends.
If
Yeah,
we
I can
have
do
any
weekends.
events,
I can do
I'm
weekends.
not going to.
Yeah, well there you go. So weekends I can do. Busy but not as busy. So but we need to sit down I think and then we can crash a lot of things out. I've got a big office so you can come up and if you want to and we just sit there, spend time.
Yeah.
We've got the keys so
Yeah, anytime.
anytime.
Let me know when you're free.
Well, this weekend I'm in Bradford so I'm not free.
Or maybe on Friday. I'm working. I can come on Friday actually. My calendar is kind of looking very free in the afternoon. I'm still doing charity work. I'm still in the
Yeah.
community. I'm
Yeah.
slotting my calendar.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
I'll
You got to
slot
make it work for you.
Yeah. So
So
if
you
you
guys
guys
your time
doing
out.
in the afternoon.
Friday is usually my best day, but then everybody else comes. So
You can't have anybody. When I'm there, both of us can't have anybody.
yeah, so basically, like, because I have an open policy on Friday,
Okay.
so
People
people
just
just turn up, and so
Oh.
say they come in. No, they'll tell me, but I'll just say come over.
So I'm coming on Friday.
You come in on Friday.
On
What
Friday.
time?
Maybe anytime from 1, 2, 12, 2, 12, afternoon.
Probably after
2.
2 because I think the morning's busy.
Okay, after 2.
Yeah,
Okay.
because I'm actually usually Friday I work till 9.
Wow.
I've got my youth on a
Oh,
Friday,
yeah.
so I work upstairs and then the youth stands.
Not downstairs.